Hey everybody, welcome back to Stand Up for Valhalla Games. Myself and my highly alert canine assistant, Jaeger. Jaeger boy, say hi to everybody at home. So we just wanted to give you a bit of a run through of the stuff that I've been painting recently, and I've got off the actual workbench onto the shelves. So first things first, some of you who follow along on our website blog might have seen some of these guys before. I've been doing a few pictures as I finished, just group shots. But I really wanted to share with everybody else and maybe get in a bit more detail on it. What I found was excellent to paint. First things first, this is the Italeri 156 gun crew for the 88, which they sell. And I particularly like this because it's got the Luftwaffe Field Division smocks. And although the figures are true 156 scale, they have painted up quite nice. And I didn't think they were going to come out quite this good. Being that scale and in plastic, they sometimes have, what can I describe it as, maybe softer detail. But yeah, I'm actually really happy with how they've turned out, and they're looking good for when I want to change out my crews on the 88s for Western European theatre. Alright, so let's see what else has gone. So, early war. First things first, this squad here, I didn't paint completely. It was probably base coated, and when I acquired them off a lovely chap called Kent Galpin, who does commission painting himself. Got them in a load of stuff and finished them up. Quite a bit of layering and stuff to do on them, based them up, but he definitely had a good old hand in that, so can't claim that all to myself, but I did manage to get them out of that junk pile box and onto my wargame shelves. Again, early war stuff here. So what I've done is I've painted a lot of my guys for Barbarossa with the field grey trousers, but I've also got those stone grey trousers as well. Across some dudes. I realised that by the time Barbarossa came 41, they'd pretty much changed out of those stone grey trousers, but I I'm quite happy that some of my guys got them, because even I'm not crazy enough to just have trousers as a difference for your armies all the time. Well, we shall see. These guys here, nice big squad, again around that sort of Barbarossa period, 41. So these guys are all made using the fantastic Wargames Atlantic German Guards box, which of course the plastics that went into the 0200 hours game. It's the introductory sprues in there. And you can see that by utilising some of the more alert poses and getting a relevant amount of webbing and stuff onto them, they look really good for that sort of period. And they come in a mixed box as well, so they come with the jack boots, and they come with the lower boots as well, and the puttees or the gaiters. So yeah, they're really good for that sort of period when stuff was getting phased out and in, but people still had their favourite boots. They certainly weren't going to march 200 miles into Russia in a pair of boots that just got issued and not expect to get blisters. Good old infantryman's friend. Anyone who says an army marches on its stomach is probably in logistics. Ask an infantryman and he or she will say that an infantryman marches on their feet. There we go. This one here is the LMG teams from Warlord Games. The ones lying down there in the prone, so they've got the field grade trousers, and these guys at the back, the earlier war. Again, making guys so that I can reasonably play with them in invasion of France and stuff like that as well, without having to repaint and tie a new bunch of dudes. At the back here, I honestly can't remember if I've shown you that Goliath before, but there you go. Will the Goliath get new rules and new bolt action? We shall see. And a mortar. It was ages since I didn't have a Blitzkrieg mortar sort of for a long time, so glad I got one now. Right, moving on. This dude at the back here, this was a free model with my donation to Tabletop Basement Miniatures, who did some fantastic little vignettes for your, doesn't like that, for your models to go on in 156 28mm. Now, what I'd like to say is that, man, I wish I had money at the time because I didn't, but I made a donation and they lovingly sent me one of these miniatures, which of course is ready to stand on top of an AFV and refuel the fuel tanks. So, yep, really nice to paint up too. I'm very jealous of whoever got those vignettes. I would love one. Incidentally, if you have one and you don't want it anymore, get in touch. Alright, moving on. I am on to Penela, which I've done quite a lot of. This one here, the Steve Barber Models Penela Sniper. And if I just zoom out a bit so we don't all get seasick and go down to here, again, Steve Barber Models, this time the medium machine gun on the tripod. Really nice to paint up. The models had separate arms and stuff in good places too, and that set made it handy to assemble. Moving on, I've got a whole heap of Penela. You can see there, these guys are Artisan. All these guys from Great Escape Games, who incidentally I can't recommend enough for sending packages overseas. Well packaged and got to New Zealand from the UK in 5 days. Can't get from New Zealand one end to the other in 5 days, hardly, thanks to the postage system, but well done for Great Escape Games. The guy there as well on the left from Great Escape, and the radio operator there is from, it's a bit of a kit bash from Wargames Atlantic. And speaking of whom, this next squad that we see here is a mix of Wargames Atlantic and the odd Artisan miniatures. So it was the end of the Wargames Atlantic miniatures that I have. I love them. Great addition to the force. As always, I love both the metal miniatures and plastics for various different reasons, but really enjoyed those guys. I really like the Penela uniform, the lapels and stuff like that, the way they stand out. So it was really nice to find the weapons teams for Steve Barber Models. Recommended. Go check them out. All right, what else have I been doing? All right, well, first of all, I painted up this mortar crew. I'm at my home at the moment, and my spare mortar itself is in my secret lair away from home at work. So one day soon I'll get that guys together and finish off that base. Right, so not too long ago we spoke about, or Rex spoke about the difficulties he'd had with the Warlord resin, and in particular his Soviet weapons teams. Well, it's a real shame because I've actually got a good report, a fantastic one. I've painted these guys up here and really enjoyed them, and I have had no issues with mine. They were well cast. They went together really well. I did use spray to base coat them, so didn't use a primer on those ones. I used the Vallejo Field Grey spray, straight onto it, and it's adhered really well. So yeah, really highly recommended in my experience. I loved that the Here weapons teams came with this sniper in there. Really, really, really nice sculpt. Yeah, that's quite hard to get for quite some time because so many people were after, I think. And this here, the Panzerschreck team, also highly recommend these guys as well. Again, where they've made the multi-part, it's all common sense. Now, it might be easy to think that this guy here is, or that all the teams are just simple recasts from the metal into the resin. However, I'm going to give you an example that they're not. This guy here is the resin one, as you can hear. And if I get over his mate, which I was sort of for a long time dissatisfied with his pose. So this is the metal guy here on the left as you're looking at it. Now look at the change in the pose. The leg has come slightly downward in a more logical sort of position and got turned around towards the back. And the major thing is that if we look down here, the gap between the weapons and the body, the new sculpt on the right has a hint of a gap, basically sculpted in relief. The guy on the left actually has a gap, but it looks really weird. And when you look at it on the website, the old photos, it looks sort of like he's running along and he's jumping a ditch or something like that and looking down, pushing his weapon out, looking down between his arms at the ground to watch his footing. So you can see there, the guy on the right is the new guy, and you can see the change. So they're both okay. Well, the guy on the left is okay. The guy on the right is excellent. So I really recommend the new poses if you can get hold of them. Yeah, really good. The Panzerschreck guy was a pleasure to paint as well. Here we go. Here's a later war here. Bunch of dudes. One helmet cover that needs to get painted there. I just didn't bring the right colours down with me. And my ones here have dried up, unfortunately. A Pack 40 crew, minus the spotter, or the range finder, gun controller from the front. Here is another, this is the metal flamethrower team, and there's your metal Panzerschreck I spoke about. And this guy here, I have not been able to find on anybody's website. He is metal, he's well sculpted. His the rocket or bomb that he's holding, and I believe it is a rocket, looks like a Panzerschreck one, and so it's been painted accordingly. But yeah, can't find him anywhere, what manufacturer he is. I got him in a job lot from somewhere. So yeah, if you knew where he comes from, and you can shed any light on that, let me know, just for interest's sake. I can tell you it was a lovely sculpt, so highly recommend it if someone puts in the remarks where it comes from. But there we go. There is a lot of stuff that I painted. And bear with me, what I'm going to do is I am going to get these guys off the table, and believe it or not, I've got some more fellas I've made some progress on too. So, I'll see you soon. Alright, welcome back. So, here's a bunch of Soviet naval infantry that I've been painting up. I actually got the... is it the platoon deal or the brigade deal or something like that deal from Warlord Games, and getting through the infantry so that I can treat myself with what's at the end. And those of you who know that set will be able to relate to the treat at the end that I'm referring to, and I'll show that in a future video. So this MMG over here, I was short a body for that, and Rex has just printed and sent me one off. That one being one of the Flank March Miniatures 3D sculpts. There's another one hidden in here somewhere in one of the squads, or another one or two, but basically pretty much the remainder of what you see here are the metal warlord ones, which got some delightful poses and stuff. Those of you who've been reading our blog online will know that there was a couple that I mentioned looked a bit like Voldemort. There were some noses that were only just there. But no, I was really happy to get those knocked out. I've got another bunch on my paint table as well, so I'm looking forward to getting them done. And I also have done a whole lot of Vaen SS. So I got a whole heap done, as you know, in the past that had Zeltbahn on. These guys here were just a good old mix, Zeltbahn and not. But I had them earmarked for Vaen SS anyway, so got the helmet covers on them. You can see I really went to town. I was totally encouraged to do this by the feedback on previous posts saying, are you going to get the National Eagles and cuff titles and stuff on them, which I have done. Now, this is lovely. I love this model. This is the MMG team relocating. Love the guys at the front, ammo carrier, the actual gunner himself, and at the back we've got the guy carrying the tripod. So I've left them singly based, but put them within that base, and that base got the idea from the Test of Honor bases that Warlord was selling, and the guys at Grey Now Games sell. And Rex basically took that concept and refined it a bit in 3D printing. So just simply 3D print a whole bunch of these off. I have got some texture on there, and really good, because now if that now I can measure from that base and count it as an MMG team. I measure to and from the base when it is firing, or just pull the guys out of there and use them as fantastic models by themselves, or remove casualties from the MMG, whatever is appropriate. So I think that guy there, that officer there, is the only officer in that I've painted the SS camouflage trousers on so far in the whole army. Obviously being fairly rare for most units. A lot of these, again, these were these sculpts that I inherited, but these ones were painted from scratch. There was no sort of base coating on these when I got them. So they've all been painted up from scratch into what they are. Ready to join everybody else on my Wargames rooms shelves. And I have already got a game with these yesterday, as Max decided to use some Waffen SS troops against me in my second game of 3rd edition Bolt Action, and his first. First game I had on Sunday, and thoroughly enjoyed it. Again, I echo all the views of people like Brad, just basically all the guys out there that I've heard on the social media, on podcasts, stuff like that, like me and Rex, have really looked forward to this and have been really happy to get a new set of rules. It looks like it's been well play tested. What I would say, again, like everybody else, is don't be overly concerned about the changes that you feel might push something in one direction. Make sure you got the FAQ printed off. Make sure you've got your rules there. Get into both sets of those and help you play the first games that you have, and thoroughly enjoy yourself like we did. Couldn't recommend it more. Looking forward to getting more and more games in. Right, team, hope you've enjoyed me being here with you today. And Jaeger, the hyper alert guard dog. But look forward to seeing you again soon. And hopefully next time I see you, I'll have caught up with Rex as well, and we've got his news. Thank you. Speak soon. Bye.